are two things. One is the structure, and two is some people skills that will help you grow your business to the next level. So before we get into the structure, because of my engineering background, the first time I attended a session and we were told that now you're going to build structure, I began to think in terms of beams and columns and all that, a structure to build our business. But that is not the same. It has some relevance because the deeper your foundation in this business, the more stable the business is. What is structure? Structure simply means you have built your business so that you take maximum advantage of our compensation plan, that you qualify at a certain level of the business month in, month out. That is really what it means to building structure. Building other leaders in your group. Two things are very important in building structure. One is called building width, and another one is called building depth. Those are two very important things. In fact, the best way to picture this, think of your business as a tree. If you want a tree to grow and to be strong, what are the two things that you need to do for your tree? One is that your tree needs to have roots that are spread out. Number two, you want those roots to be very, very deep. If those two things are there, your tree will be stable, your business will be stable. So what is the first thing that you do to grow your structure? The first thing is to do what is called building width. That is to sponsor people directly. It first starts from the main thing. What is the main thing of our business? Using products, retailing products, and then sponsoring. How do you sponsor people in the business? That means how do you get people in the business and support them to grow their business? There's a difference between recruiting and sponsoring. Recruiting is getting people in the business. Sponsoring is getting them into the business and supporting them to grow and become leaders in the business. That is what sponsoring is in our business. So how do you sponsor new people? Step number one, a name list. You need to have a name list of 200, 300, 400 people. You need to keep adding names to your list. So name list and prospects. A suspect is anybody you meet. A prospect is somebody whom you ask a qualifying question and expresses an interest to have a look at the business. So name list and prospect list. Number two, you need to invite them properly to have a look at the business. Asking a very simple question. Are you open to look at a way to generate additional income working part-time? If they say yes, say, I've got some information I'd like to share with you. Can I send you a video? It's a very short video, 10 minutes. Or can we meet on such and such a date at the time at this venue? I want to explain and show you some information. Remember, the word showing is very important because some prospects want you to explain things on the phone, which is not easy. Explaining things on the phone is not easy because the person will not get the full picture of what the business is. And then invite them and show them the business. After you've shown the business by telling your story, make a follow-up. That is how you build your width. Building width simply means the people you sponsor directly under you. Why do you sponsor people in the business? You sponsor people in the business to help them become directors. That is really the reason you sponsor them in the business. Some people may join the business, but their goal is not to become directors or wild team members. Their goal is just to use the products. When them to grow, do not be you'll always find three kinds of people in our business. Find the customer type, that is people who join to use products. You will find a slow business and they sponsor one person after 6 months. And they just want to business slow in their own time. then you will find the leaders, people who want to sponsor 3 to 4 people every month on a continuous basis to become directors or leaders in the business. And you need those 3 types of people to have a stable business. So, building with, the first thing you need to do is you need to go 4 to 6 wide very quickly. Why is that important? Because if you go 4 to 6 wide very quickly, you can work with. Want to build the business that's seeking, there are 10 meetings, they're very open to learning. Those are the kind of people you give most of your attention. All right. So building with, of course, as I said, what you with person you the interest to build. You start building depth with them. And what is the goal? The goal is to go 12 to 14 deep in each leg. Initially, you need to go 3 deep in each of the people you sponsor to build a director unit. Very important thing to learn. Build on a taproot. Let me see. This structure, it's important that when you start the business, draw yourself there. And then when you start sponsoring or recruiting people in the business, draw these circles represent your team members, people you sponsor into the business. The idea is to go 6 wide very quickly. And then each of those people try and go 3 deep, each person sponsoring 2. You may find that the person you sponsor directly is not really keen on what you need to do is work on their list will the business. When this happens, then focus your attention on the person who has expressed interest in doing the business, so that you begin to remember that always feed in any leg. That means pay attention to people who need your attention. Pay attention to people who need your attention. They ask you questions. They'll call you with questions. They want to be helped. They will call you and tell you, Pascal, I found a prospect, but I need you to help me close the prospect. Or Pascal, this has happened. Can you advise? Those are the people you need to pay your attention to. So the goal is people their businesses. So you go wide until you find 3 legs to work. If you have 3 serious legs, in the 6 or 12 months, you're building a structure for a world team business. Okay? But to get 3 legs to work with, you need to go at least 8 to 12 wide before you get these 3 serious people. You will notice that if you sponsor or 12 people, you will only get 3 to 4 people who want to build a business on a serious level. Those are the people you spend your time with. It doesn't mean you neglect the others. You give your attention to people who need your attention. So that is what we mean by building depth. The first is build width. The second is build depth. And building depth means that you help the people you brought in to also build their own organizations. And what is the goal? The goal is to go 12 deep in each leg. And the deeper you go, the more stable your business, and you'll find that your business begins to grow with or without you. A number of things that are important in building depth. Number 1, focus on what duplicates. What does that mean? It means that check everything that you do. If the people in your team find it difficult to duplicate, then you need to think about it again. That means keep your business simple. Our business is very simple. It's just talking to people. Talking to people and showing them with enthusiasm what our business is. The 4 basics. Keep sponsoring. The reason why you need to keep sponsoring is some of the people you sponsor will grow their business to director level. And when they reach director, you can't use their volume to qualify as a director. I would recommend that if you don't know what that means, go back to the compensation plan and read through it. Because remember, you are paid as a leader on the number of leaders you develop, number of directors you develop. So you always need to keep sponsoring by doing the 4 basics: name list, inviting, show the plan, you follow up. Name list, invite, show the plan, follow up. And then you also need to develop the right attitude. How do you develop the right attitude? By reading good books, keeping company with people who want to succeed in life, attending functions so that you have the right attitude to build a business. Somebody with a negative attitude can really affect your life and your business to the detriment. If you take any 10 people and one person has got a bad attitude, aim at discipline, not motivation. Why is that important? Because motivation starts you on the journey to success, but it is only discipline that keeps you on that journey. Discipline, if you do something often enough, it becomes a habit, and a habit creates good character. So aim at discipline, not motivation. Motivation is good because it helps you get started on the road to success, but you need discipline to keep going. And then keep your eyes on the future. Why? Because the future is what you still haven't achieved yet. And remember that if you want to have a good future, you need to conceive that future in your imagination first. Your imagination is very, very powerful. And the more you imagine the good future that you want, the more you increase the chances of it becoming true. And you tend, this morning, Betty and I were driving going to Mass. And I said, there's a type of new car we would like to buy. Between here and the church and back, I saw 4 of those cars, which I never noticed before. Why is that important? I'm mentioning that because there's something in our brain called reticular activating system. When you have a goal about something that you want to achieve, you tend to notice it or the things that lead you to make that dream become a reality. So have very clear goals of the things you want to achieve. Have very clear goals of the dreams that you have. Get a picture of the things that you have. If you want to travel, look for a picture that represents this dream that you have. Why is that important? That is important because you will tend to notice the things that help you achieve that dream. And then do not pay attention to what your mind tells you. Why is this important? Remember, your brain or your mind always wants to keep the status quo and keep you safe. That is why when you're attempting something new, your mind always finds excuses why you need to avoid doing something different. Why? Because the brain is used to certain things. So your brain wants to maintain status quo. Number 2, your brain always wants to conserve energy. You don't do things which are unusual. So the way to create a drive to make sure your goals are achieved is to look at the goals all the time until your mind gets used to looking at the new goal, and you will find that things become easier. So pay attention to your future, not what you're going through. Pay attention to where you're going to, not what you're going through, because what you're going through sometimes can be tough. And then have an accountability measure. It simply means every evening or once a while, look at the mirror and ask yourself, what have you done today? Have you spoken to the people you want to? That person you spoke to, did you do your best? What are the lessons you need to learn? That is being accountable to yourself. And it's not easy to be accountable to yourself because we are always judging ourselves better than we really are. And then two things, the people skills I want to share with you today is one is enthusiasm, how to become enthusiastic about something. But before I do, just give me one moment. I want to get something on the screen here. If you give me a few minutes. Okay.